All right. Recording is live.
Alright. First thing to mention, we do have a side-scroller template in the local project on my computer. I'm just having difficulties getting it connected to Bitbucket for the source control.
Yeah, and I will say that issue that you were having, I have never seen Bitbucket do that with, even with the limited experience I've had. That is weird. And I'm not sure how to go about fixing that. If we need to move to a different source control and do more digging, we certainly can. But Bitbucket is one I'm more familiar with.
Well, I already had that account too, so I figured might as well go with that, but since it's not working, we may have to go a different route. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Alright, so Cosmo, were you planning on showing anything yet, or?
I mean, yeah, I could show the level, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let me just get it. I forgot I had my OBS up. I gotta get rid of that. Be gone, OBS.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
I did it a few hours ago, and let's see here. I had Zeke. I just memorized what you told me. I didn't look. It was like the pit trap idea, the not a hill, but just going through the forest that ends up being in a cavern. Very vague, and I just went out with that concept, and it's not loading.
I understand.
Okay. You know what? If I say run as administrator, it's gonna have to run. Aha! Got you, Mega Man. Alright, let me share the... Where do I go?
One second, I just realized Raven's not in here, so...
It's okay, I'm trying to figure out... I'm not used to sharing my screen on here. I just did
I hear you.
Or with... Hold on. Oh, it's down here. Duh. Okay. There we go. Let's go live.
Alright.
I'll wait a little bit. Or I'll get it ready, I guess.
Usually you could just play the levels if you just go to play.
Okay. Didn't know that. Now I know that. Controller doesn't work, does it? I tried.
I usually just use the computer, but I could look at that again to see how to hook up to a controller.
Yeah. You're talking about the keyboard, right? Keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Keyboard works. I mean, it works. I mean, it works. It works. Yeah, when I stream, I don't know what's wrong on this laptop. The audio gets all weird when I stream, but my desktop computer does not have that problem.
Okay.
I can't even hear you guys. Let me just play this. I don't know what's wrong with my audio, but that's just one. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my audio. I can't if you guys are talking, I can't hear you.
You need to be able to hear you. You can't really hear you. The audio is blaring over.
I think it's the game's audio. It's too loud for you to actually hear us.
I can hear you guys. I actually can't. It's the opposite. I can't hear the game. I can hear you guys now.
Oh.
So that was the whole pitfall thing that you were talking about with well, I mean, we can make it a trap. It's not perfect, but it's just a little idea. Going into a cave. That's actually how far I got, only. But
No, I actually like it. Because
I don't know what. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I said I kind of like it because it gives off some more ideas of what the level's going to be like and how the player's going to explore throughout the level.
I don't know why.
That...
Like every level I do, I don't know why I tend to do this, but when you fall down, the player like thinks that they're gonna die. But I like the idea of them being saved, but then they have to still work their way around. You know, to kind of. I mean, then they get a little crazy here.
They go on their own mini adventure.
Yeah, I did that with the other level I showed you. I don't know why I just like doing that, but and I just and then this I just kind of began. Are we gonna like have different exits similar to Super Mario World, where there's like a few different exits the player can choose?
I say for the levels that are not connected to the boss, yes.
Okay, that's what you were saying. Gotcha.
Like from the tutorial level and the level where the boss is supposed to be, that's the levels that are supposed to have only one exit. But the rest in between should be like multiple different exits. But I say we should stick with just one so we can like know what player's gonna use as like one of the main routes.
Yeah, I did that here too. I'm sure we'll fit it in one level. Gotta go with my favorite level from Mega Man 2 with the music.
Hey, if you like it, you like it.
They're fucking mine. Thank you. Too much. Shut the fuck up.
Too many enemies for the beginning of the game, but this was like my first level, just getting used to Mega Man Maker. Whoops.
This is making me want to explore my creative mindset using that maker, though, just to see what I can make.
Absolutely, Dan. That was Dan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, hell yeah. I recognize the voice. It was a little weird, but I don't know why, but when I play that level, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, so, I mean, we have this recorded, right? Or maybe not, but, it's just, well, you guys saw it, I guess, so there's the idea.
It should be recorded anyway. Because he's recording, so.
Whoops, I'm back, okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that the levels you made was really good, Cosmo.
Oh, thanks. For
Yeah.
first draft, thanks.
And I just wanted to like...
I have is if we're going to do it in Unreal, how would those levels translate over?
I think that we could, in more sense, we just using them as like a plan out, like 2D top-down map.
It's a block.
That we could just go in, yeah.
Just using those levels as a reference point.
Yes, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
And many studios, and I mean that I've heard and talked to, I've talked to many people, and everyone's kind of different. And if we think as level designers, if we think it's the best way to represent what we will do with Unreal, then if they help, because it's resembling the wizard, with the wizard doing the little blast, but also what's different is that the wizard can also do a melee attack. I think that's what it said in the character sheet.
And from me and when I was talking with Cosmo on Saturday, we also thought of having him have a aim system similar to like how would be like in Metroid or what game am I thinking of? Or like Super Smash.
I would say
I was
yes, Metroid when it came to the 3DS Samus Returns game. That if you're talking about that Metroid game, then yes.
Yeah, but I was about to say like similar to like how like a Snake or Star Fox does their ultimate in Super Smash Brothers. You know, like how they just aim at the screen and like every shot they make is like on point and stuff. Or
So
if
yeah, the player doesn't have to use it, but like for certain abilities or certain weapons or whatever, maybe they have to. But they have a choice to like use the other controls too for a. I don't think I could finish that thought.
it's like they can use this ability to solve puzzles, trap enemies by shooting at the environment to actually cause like damage to them, or it can help them get past like certain obstacles that's going around them. Like we could have like one level where like the floorboard is moving, like the floorboard is like falling down at a fast rate, but like you can shoot at the floorboard to slow it down.
Yeah, I like that. And also, keep in mind the blockout levels in Mega Man, they don't represent the puzzles because there's certain things you cannot do. I don't know if you can do them, but but that comes later, I guess, when we'll go back to the level and add in some puzzles like hit switch here, open gate here, blah blah blah. Kind of similar to Yoshi's Island with, if any of you remember Yoshi's Island with one of the fortresses, you hit a switch and the spike platform goes the other direction, and you had to figure out the puzzle as a little kid trying to get through that fortress. With the pattern of the switches. That's just an example of something we could do. I mean, something similar, but yeah, I can't do that with Mega Man Maker. There are certain things I wanted to put in the level to show you guys, but I'm like, oh, I guess you can't do it. Yeah, I don't know. Some things we'll have to wait till Unreal Engine to show. Well, I mean, I guess that's obvious.
That's why I was kind of questioning how they would translate over, but if that's just being used as a reference point, then that makes sense anyway.
Reference point, and we talk about what is not there, but that we will put in Unreal. But we should document it, and I said I would start doing the database stuff. I'll do that next meeting next week. I'll start doing the spreadsheets because the ideas are developing more and more, and they're becoming a little more concrete. Not totally where we are yet, but maybe by next week we'll have a few things I can at least put on the database.
Like one of the things that we did talk about that wasn't something that Mega Man can do is like adding a double jump feature for the character.
Yeah, I put that on there. It didn't do it. How do you do it? How do you make Mega Man double jump? Don't you just hit?
Oh, no, he can't double jump.
You can't?
Like not really. Basically, in like Super Smash Brothers, they made him double jump by using like his dog. What's that dog name again?
Whoa.
I know his sister's name is Roll, but like the dog is named something else. I will call it Mega Dog for now because I don't know the name. Sorry about that, but like he uses the dog as a spring that he can just jump on top of, and it springs him upward higher. He doesn't really got a double jump.
Oh, Rush. I looked it up. I admit I looked it up. It's Rush.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, so you got the spring on the dog. You got it as a glider, like across left and right. You have it goes up and down as well. Like so there's all kinds of different things that the dog does for Mega Man throughout the game, pretty much.
Right.
Now, do we have any ideas of weapons or anything asset-wise that we can start working on?
Well, weapon-wise, I was thinking of having like, so it's like some of these characters are going to so most of these characters are going to be from like different time zones. We could
Mhm.
start off with. I feel like we should start off with the medieval weapons first, because that's where
Okay.
the main fighting is going to take place. I was
Alright.
talking with Mystic on, I think, yeah, on Saturday after I talked with Cosmo. I put like the recordings to those meetings in the record. I think I put it in the general chat. But I was talking with Mystic, and like we thought of some ideas for like different types of characters for the game, and I thought it would be more interesting having like fantasy type like enemies. Like we could have like goblins with bows, or like elves with staffs that just shoot. And we also thought like there should be like a flying dragon and stuff, like mini flying dragons. Because I was thinking that the final boss of the level for medieval would be like a giant dragon that guards it, and I was thinking of having it be related to King Arthur in the story sense.
Mm. Okay.
So another thought that I have, since you're bringing medieval stuff up first, that is a cool idea. But why not start out in like the current and then go back to different eras? You know, being able to like choose
Like,
different like. Hold on.
sorry.
Choosing something like, say, you know how Mario has like the pipes and you can go to different worlds and whatnot. What about a pipe that transports you to a medieval area, or to a Chinatown era, or to like a, you know, so like different eras, right?
Like,
And then
Well, one thing, Dan, we had discussed having a portal instead of a pipe, but the premise was the same thing.
yeah, I'm not saying like a pipe specifically. I'm just saying like something to help you travel from one point to the other. You know what I mean?
yeah, I understand what you mean, and that's where I do understand like the premise of it, but I thought like for like the first part of the story, it should go off of like how he got the first stone. So like I felt like the game would. I do love the idea that there will be like pipes, like, well, portals that lead you to other worlds, and I do want that. But I also felt like it would also be better for. I also thought it would be like a good introductory of how he got to the first stone, like to teach. Like that's how I was picturing like the first tutorial level going. Then it starts going to like the enchanted woods and the cave, and him find a dragon. And then after he beats the first boss, any other places he goes will be like whatever choices he makes, like wherever era he goes next. I thought it would be much easier if we like had like a first starting point, then focus on like expanding it after that. If that made sense, or if that sounded more complicated.
I mean, the only reason why I was suggesting start out with like the current era and then going to different eras is because then you have like not a hub level, so to speak, but like if you start with medieval, then they're going to think that if you go to another area that you're going to go back to the medieval one eventually. You know what I mean? And you don't want them to think that. You want it to be like, okay, go to this area to get this stone or get this part of the story, you know, to send your player back to that moment whenever you get that first stone, like what you're talking about. But starting them off with that, again, it's not that your idea is bad or anything. It's definitely great, you know, but I think there's a different approach that you could take. It's like put like your current, you know, time as your main, you know, start out point, and then when you want to interact with different activities, you know, for the player, you know, not necessarily set it in an order that you want the player to interact with it in, but like make it where, again, if you started out with medieval, if you went to another era, then they're going to expect you to go back to medieval. You want them like to start out in current, so that way if you go to the medieval, then they know they're coming back to the current era, you know, to go to another area as well, if that makes sense.
Nah, it makes sense.
because
Basically,
yeah, you just don't want to set the tone that it's just medieval the whole way through in a way by starting that out with the first level. And again, there's nothing wrong with the idea. I really do like the idea. However, with it being just one part of the game, you should have that as a sub part of your main part, and your main part is your current time instead of medieval time, right? So you could have your other portals off your current time, going from that main hub level or from that main area to take you to a different era from the current time instead of the medieval time.
I understand. I just put him in the medieval time since like he's the first wizard. He was like the main character, also the first wizard you're actually going to be introduced, and it felt like he would have been in the medieval time because of his wizard, like just because he was a wizard made me figure that he would start off in the medieval time while branching out to other timelines.
Okay, well, I mean, it's not just me and yours opinion. Of course, it's everybody's. So,
Yeah. So I don't mind to open it to everybody else. That was just my idea about it. That's all.
For sure. Yeah. I think that everybody should definitely have.
Can you say that again, Cosmo? You was talking low.
How much of the story are we considering when it comes to the level progression that might that might take on the premise we go make a main current zone going back and forth? Is that good for the story, whatever the story is going to be, if there is going to be a deep story or whatever? Because there's certain games that we'll have to figure out how to open it up more. As we said before, we want to take elements where we can have the player choose what time periods. So that kind of goes with what Dan was saying. But at the same time, the story is so good, like that we want to be like as if we are the player going through time zone to time zone, like Zeke was saying, that might be beneficial depending on how the writers develop whatever the story is going to be.
Right. Basically, you want it to flow well when you have your story and you have your levels. You want it to go in accordance with each other so it lines up the way that the story is being told, instead of bouncing back and forth and making it weird. If like mine, it would be bouncing back and forth, right? But if you're doing with the story stuff there, that you can I don't want to put it.
You know what? I just got an idea.
More linear.
What's your idea?
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Cosmo.
So going with the idea of going back and forth, having a current timer or some kind of home base, something like that. You know what? What if we made puzzles that we do certain things in or in one era that actually unlocks and does something else in a different era? I don't know. I just thought of that. Maybe that could be part of a puzzle.
No, that's a good idea.
I mean, we'd have to put out clues and guide the player. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But like. If we did go in that direction, but if you still want to go with Zeke's idea that was kind of the original idea of what Zeke said, at first I was thinking, kind of more that way, but then when I thought of that and thought of the possibilities with giving the player not only choice, but maybe going back to certain areas for maybe certain things open up, a gate opens up, make it interesting, so there's a reason to go back to the worlds, and maybe if someone replays the game again, they can do something different. I don't know. I don't know why I say I don't know at the end. I mean, that's my idea.
I kind of had an idea. I just came up with this idea. Basically, like we can still do like what Dan was saying when he gets back. I bet we're gonna have to re-say it, but like what I was thinking of is like the main part of the story is that like he was like this was the story that I came up with for the beginning part was that he was teaching Edwin magic, who wasn't understanding it. This would be like something for like the tutorial, so it could teach you how to use your powers and stuff. And then like he starts going, his wife calls him in for dinner, and then him and Edwin starts talking about the time jumps. They start talking about it. They go over like everything that you need to know about it. Then they start head off to bed. But at that point, like this would be the moment like where his wife goes into like, well, gets murdered, and basically after Cole tries to go back in time and use his powers to try to reverse it, but he found out that like he couldn't do it because like someone else is preventing him to do it. So this gives him like the reason to go look for the time gems. And at first I said like we could say he goes for like the closest one, but we can't just make it say like he's just going after any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, he will still need to gather all of them so he can be able to go into a battle with the final boss, which will be Edwin, who steals the time gems from him. And for that type of boss battle, I thought it would be interesting because like each time you knock down Edwin, you get one of the time gems back, but you don't get like the one that's invincible, that will make you invincible for a short time until like you get all of them back. Well, 6 out of 7.
Yeah, that actually does make sense.
One thing I would
Right.
caution though is not making it super complicated, even though we do want the game to be a certain way in a certain aesthetic. Because if we get too complicated, we run into issues of running into more problems with our timeline for this project. And that, I think, should be considered as well, as with anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Koopa agree. Alright.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the weapons, I went ahead and looked at medieval weapons because you had mentioned medieval, but it would work. My question would work the same whether we decide to do a different style first or otherwise. But let me share my screen real quick.
Okay.
Okay. What I'm wanting to find out is whether we're looking for like this style of detail level or let's see, more something like this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Art. You mean art direction?
Yeah, trying to figure out what we're looking for as far as the aesthetic of the weapons, I guess would be what I'm saying.
Yeah, the second one seems like what a lot of other games do. The first one, the more realistic one, doesn't seem like what many. So it depends what we want. Do we want that realistic looking thing, or do we want that because the popular doesn't mean it's bad. It just means people can relate to it. If you want to think the positive way, if you do it this way, people can relate to it because it's like other games. Even though our game is going to be unique anyway. But yeah, it's all in a vote. Whoever wants to have them, it's up to the art department. I'm not sure.
I mean, it kind of also
Yeah, I
up
don't think
to-
like we took a vote on it. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I do have several different varieties, more than just what
Right.
There's this one.
The Moa, the Maria. See, that's more closer to the realistic one, but I mean,
Mhm.
it's hard to deny how cool that would look. Like the black
Yeah.
and white aesthetic. I mean,
Now this one here and this one came up when I put in 2D. This one is actually 3D.
right.
And then I've got this looks more 2D, but it showed up in the 3D.
You know what? That one right there, is my favorite contender so far as art style.
And then I also have this, which I think that's a kind of a poor image to use, but
Well, that would be a good image if our character, depending on how big our character is. You know what I mean?
well, I mean because of the blurriness.
It kind of looks like Lego pieces.
That's
Yeah, it in the actual let's see, where was that? I think that was.
Hey Zeke.
Yeah.
So I'll develop that cavern level, and then is there going to be a fire volcano type level you want me to do?
You could say that the cavern level is more in the volcano because that's where the dragon is going to be anyway. So.
Oh, that's not. Oh, okay. How about that? I'll just continue it and make it longer, and just or make a second part to it or something. I'll do that.
Okay.
Here's that one image in a better image.
Well, that's fun. I always wanted to make a volcano fire level. You know what? There's lava in the Mega Man maker, so that'd be kind of cool to actually utilize it the way it's. That'd be fun. Of course, make it make it so ages 10 to 100. 10 to 100 can play the game, so don't make it too hard.
But what do y'all think of?
Go ahead.
What do y'all think of this reference?
I want to play that guitar. Well, it's a 4-string or 3-string.
Reminds me of the Rayman guitar.
Yeah.
One of my favorite types of weapons is a saber. I like that kind of sword. Sabers. I like what Aladdin uses. Yeah, kind of like that actually. Longer blade though.
Let me see if I can get that in a better image. Not that one.
What did you guys think about the one? Yeah, that one. What did you guys think about that one? That was my favorite for art direction.
Where did the image go?
It went to the background.
Oh, hold on. There, open image. Yeah, there it is. Oh, there we go.
I like it. I like it.
I like it too.
Now the thing we do need to think about too is, as far as the environment in Unreal. Are we gonna try to match the look of this style in the environments as well? Because I think we want to try to keep the look of the environment and the look of the weaponry in the same art style, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. So when I thought, Do you have the 2D template that you could show us?
I'll be right back. I gotta go use the bathroom.
Alright. Yeah, let me open Unreal real quick.
Because that would answer some questions, probably.
Mm-hmm. Just waiting for Unreal to open. Okay, okay, do I not have that plugin installed? No, it's installed. That is not the...
Did I miss anything?
I'm just trying to get to that side scroller template. I opened the project that we put it into, and it's the side scroller is apparently gone out of it.
Did you change the what am I thinking of? Oh, did you change the map setting?
Well, I'm not even seeing. Oh, there. Hold on. One of these? No, not that one. Apparently it's just got the one map. The third person map.
Oh, good. I mean, I was just curious.
I mean, I'm not, it's, to me it's like the whole SST template just went out of the project. Hmm. One second here.
So, is something wrong with your stream? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, I can't see anything. I mean, now I can.
I'm trying to open the side scroller template in Unreal, and apparently the template is gone.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I have a Jurassic period level idea to Jurassic with those kind of palm trees too. Be fun.
Let me make sure.
Can you show it in Unreal?
Am I not sharing Unreal?
Nope.
Okay, hold on. Let me switch to share.
Oh, did you try right clicking in the content browser where the folders are?
Oh, over here?
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Um,
is that the? Oh no, that's not where the filter is. I was trying to figure out. Let me check the plugin.
uh, show plugin and show engine content are both showing.
Okay, so it should be under. But that's both showing. Then it should be under plugin engine slash plugins.
That
And now search for STT. I mean SST.
Hmm. I see SST, well, now it went away. SST content.
Yeah,
There.
I think you had to move the map so you could have it in a
Yeah.
separate folder.
So it's 2D, 3D, like we were talking about. Nice.
Mhm.
Okay. So those weapons you were saying would it match? Depending on what the art, like you said, I think even. I mean, go for it. See what it looks like inside of it eventually when it gets to that point.
Alright.
I see what this is. This is exactly how I imagined it was gonna be. Even with the barriers, even with the barriers being
Now,
you can't get out of. Kind of like a Mario 60. Well, kind of like a new Mario, like a Mario 3, like we were talking about before, like 2.5D. Okay. Okay, that gets
yeah,
you.
you won't see the barrier things.
No, no, I'm glad. I mean, I expected to see it, not in the test play, but I was
Yeah.
this is exactly what I was imagining when you said you had a 2D template. So this is pretty cool. I'm actually happy it's like this, because yeah, we can definitely translate the Mega Man blocks and then obviously add all the puzzles, everything we can possibly do to make our game great. Nice. I'm happy with it. With the
Alright.
basics of what it is. What
Yeah.
What Unreal? What are you using? What version? So we can all use the same version.
5.4.
5.4.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about the newest ones. I mean, is 5.4 the newest one?
Well, I think they said they had 5.5 out.
Yeah, I think we should stick to either 5.3,
Yeah.
5.2, 5.3, or 5.4. Be just whatever it works with all of us. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't even have 5.5 installed yet.
The new
I
one.
think
5.4 is what was discussed before, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Let me see.
Hey man, why you put me so close to the dragon head? All right.
Close to the dragon. Given my background.
Me or what?
5.4.4. There it is.
Yeah, 5.4.4.
I'm sorry for those who don't know that I'm joking. I was joking about the background on Dragon's screen.
Yeah.
No, I saw that, but it's also going after me. I thought I love you, dragons. Come on.
But yeah, so
The dragon on everybody in here.
No, it's
So-
after me.
so-
Me and Dan.
are we thinking along this style then?
But like more 3D or what?
That's what I'm trying to nail down.
I was just suggesting it's my favorite, all the ones you've shown, but it's up to a vote for everyone.
I think 3D would
I mean,
probably look pretty good
Mm-hmm.
for the weaponry.
But I
at
mean, as
least.
far as like the texture style though with this, are we wanting to do the textures like this, but on a 3D object?
I think so.
Yeah, I think if everyone
Okay.
is agreeable to that. But I mean, it kind of depends what everyone else thinks.
Mm-hmm. Let me
Absolutely.
save it. What was that was a crappy image. Where was that good image?
The time is 7 o'clock p.m.
Oh, right there.
Do you want to speak more? Do you want to have another level design meeting Saturday?
I think Zeke is still. He said he had to step away for a minute.
Oh, I freaking forgot. I'll DM him and we'll
Can you hear me now?
Okay, he's back.
Yeah, Ben got back. It's just that my mic unhooked from my. I really gotta get a new headset. But either way, I said I put the documentation for the level. I mean, for the side scroll template inside the chat. Also, yeah, I don't mind setting up another meeting this Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And thanks.
Player, could we get another channel along with where the meeting recordings go to, so that we have one that's for the main meetings and one that's for the design meetings?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Give me a second.
And okay. And then Zeke, when you post the design meeting recordings, you can post them in that new channel.
Okay then.
I'm just.
Then that way we have all the meetings together and. Yeah, I'll have to. Matter of fact, before I forget, let me see if I can. Would I want to copy that folder and put it in my content so it's not, I'm not using the one that's in Engine?
I say move it from. I say move it out of. Like you're not just moving just a folder. You're trying to get the entire like side scrolling template
Yeah.
out there. So I say like move the side scroll template out of the engine and put it in like into the content folder.
Okay. Hold on. Why is.
I
Oh,
just named
because
it
that's.
team meeting recordings for the new channel. So, and I put it in the same category as where the meeting recordings chat is. So, any team meeting recordings can go in the team meeting recordings chat.
Why are you acting that? Where is that window?
Are you trying to look for the content drawer?
Yeah, but it's not opening because I've got this other project settings window open, but I can't get to it to close it because it's apparently behind the.
Probably you need to exit out the project and exit back in.
Yeah, that's.
Like completely shut down Unreal. That's what I meant.
Okay, there. Yeah, because that was weird. Usually that window would come forward, but it wasn't coming forward. Okay. So, is it SST or SST content that I want to?
It'll be like SS. I say SST.
Okay. Hold on. So, this one. Yeah. Okay. Now, I should be able to do what I was gonna do.
Can't you just change the name of the map?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Hold on. Actually, yeah, probably. Duplicate is not. Edit. No, no. Rename is not available, and I can't duplicate it either. Then let me see if I can check settings. Oh wait, hold on. I know what I should be able to do. Okay, now it should be the map that shows up when I load it in. Which I can test that out. Okay, yeah, I've got the 2D template set as the map that loads in when you first open the project now, so.
The default map, nice.
Yeah. That way I don't have to go search for it every time I open Unreal.
Is that the only level you have so far?
Yeah. Yeah, because,
I'm glad you showed us. Thank you. Now I have a great idea. That's kind of what I thought it was going to be anyway.
Yeah, because I was kind of waiting to do anything with the levels until after they got a plan of what the levels would look like.
We'll have more planning after Saturday too, and after the next meeting, we'll keep developing. And I like the ideas we had. And Dan, thank you for your idea of the time warp and or the ideas with everything. What? That was weird. Something happened. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, does anyone else have any questions for me or anyone who want to talk about anything in particular, I should say?
One thing I want to throw out, I guess, is once you got more levels, let me know. I can help you set up the in level area and then load into the next area. I know how to do that pretty well. So if you don't know already, I can help you out with that.
Okay.
All it is pretty much is like setting up a blueprint telling you, hey, stop the player from moving. You can either show an end results screen like some of the side scrollers do, or you can just put up a level loading screen right away, like right afterwards, without showing any results on the screen, and then load the next level. So depending on what you want to do.
I know she's showing in the meeting, but I know she was doing something too, so I'm not sure if she's actually in here at the moment.
Me or Marley?
Marley.
Ah,
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. I was talking to my mom.
Oh, you're fine. I just wanted to check with you on. Let me. Am I still sharing my main screen? If okay. Let's see, which one was it? Not that ugly. That one. Would you be able to handle textures along these lines on 3D objects?
Should be able to.
Okay. Because I think
Slightly
that's what I think that's what we're going for as far as the look of them.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, Molly, I'm not sure if you caught from the last meeting or not, but we've decided to put the RPG to back burner for right now and do something a little that we can get out a little sooner, because the RPG was getting to be
Yeah.
big.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
And then with Zeke and Cosmo knowing a good bit about 2D side scrollers, kind of made sense.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So you just need me to texture?
No, we'll have to create some weapons yet. We don't have any.
Okay.
We don't have anything made yet. But Zeke, are we looking for like this level of detail in the Model 2? Except for it being a 3D rather than 2D?
Yeah, I say it should at least match with the weapon. If we're gonna do the weapon and the environment to be the same, then the models should also match that type of aesthetic as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Generally they would.
Like, as far as this level of detail that this picture is showing? Okay. And he had mentioned medieval weapons. What other kind of weapons are we thinking about besides just the medieval?
We was also thinking about some sci-fi, some sci-fi weapons, some Stone Age weapons, some. Would it be called like 90s weapons or like industrial age weapons?
Okay.
And modern day weapons.
Okay.
Like rocks and like a stone axe, and then like for industrial, you could use like a wrench.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Or
as
like a
far as-
steampunk gun.
yeah.
I mean, you can really get creative with it as long as you know how to make the art for it, then or even the weapons for it. You can really get creative with it.
Mm-hmm. And then when you say modern day, are you talking about like,
Like an M16 pistol or something like that.
okay.
Modern. Gotcha.
Oh. And like a couple of each, or what are you thinking?
I think it's like 2 millies and two range types.
For each? For
That
like,
would make sense.
Yeah.
okay. So 4 from each period.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, question: do you want throwables from each area too, or do you just want 2 melee and 2 guns, so to speak?
Well, throwables will kind of be fit into the range, especially for the primitive area. That's my view, anyway. Because yeah, the rocks can be thrown, so
That's what I was thinking,
it would be
too.
considered ranged.
Yeah, and I thought too that'd be kind of funny. Again, and the stones for the Stone Age, you know, being able to throw the stones at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Like
yeah,
what is it
funny
called?
thing there.
Do like a makeshift slingshot.
Yeah.
Take that! Ow!
Exactly.
Then you can make a little sound effect for it.
Ooh, yes, there you go. That'll be good for comedic. I would love that.
So I guess we could each take an era as far as the modelers. I could take one era, you could take one, Marley, and Tail could take one, and then once we get those 3 eras done, we could do the next one.
Yeah.
Did you guys iron out yet how many levels for each era there's gonna be, or no?
It was like the plan was to have like 8 total levels, where each one will be in a different era, where it has like 4 different sub levels.
Jeez.
All right, so
Okay.
Mario away,
Yeah,
and then
has-
4 sub levels on one world, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the idea. But if that makes it like too much, then we can shorten how many levels the sub levels are.
Well, it also depends on if classes can be reused too. That'll make it a lot easier.
Right.
Yeah, I think for some that you should be able to, because you got to think about it. Like if you're having a whole world based on medieval, you're having a whole world based on current, you're having a whole world based on this or that, whatever world you're basing it off of. You should be able to reuse those assets and displace them differently within those 4 levels.
Exactly.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which
Yeah,
also
so-
makes. I was about to say, like, the last level is not tied to any timeline, because that's just basically where they're gonna be fight. It's gonna be like a mixture level, where
Oh,
yeah, because that's where the final boss is gonna be. So like, it's just gonna be a mixture of all the assets.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And what would really be cool if you want to do for the final boss, you could do like, and again, this is gonna kind of sound a little bit out of the ordinary considering we're doing a side scroller, but I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, so I take inspiration a lot of times from this one. In Final Fantasy IV, at the end of the game, what they did was they made it where you had to fight 4 bosses back to back to back to back to back, like that. And
I think it might be pretty cool. Like, say if you fight a boss that you've already fought in an earlier world, and then basically you have to refight those bosses all in sequence at the end.
That would be
I like that.
interesting.
I have an idea about the levels in general. About what about each era, which is each level, each sub level that you mentioned, Zeke, could be in a different area and in a different name even. Like you have to go underground to go to this part of the area. Let's say you got to go to I don't know. That takes inspiration from like Castle Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid and stuff, where they have literal area names tied to the level or time era. That could be the sub levels, I guess.
Yeah, I thought we was already decided on that when I said like one place is like the cavern and all that stuff.
So you like
Sorry.
the idea of 8x4?
Yeah,
Okay. I'll
'Cause, like-
keep that in mind when I'm designing the block out stuff. I'm gonna actually go with that order.
okay. And what I was thinking of was basically what the final boss. I kind of like the idea that he just summoned some of the old bosses to use as.
Yeah, Mega Man does that too, and I love the way Final Fantasy does that as well. With even in Mystic Quest, they do that with reusing sprites, but in different colors and they become harder. And it is pretty cool to bring back something like that, and then have
Like-
it in succession because
Another-
it would become an endurance test rather than just a boss fight. You're like, oh, I just
Yeah.
got done with this boss fight. Nope, you got another boss fight, pretty much. Give him
Another
give him
thought
a between, though.
Another thought to add to that is like, and again, this is gonna sound corny. I don't know if any of you ever watched Power Rangers as a kid, like having like a super mega boss that has like all the forms of the old bosses like in one big mega boss. Instead of all separate forms, you can do it all in one big form too. That has all the abilities of the old boss, but all in one character. You could do that too.
And then have it go into like the second form and then third form.
Well, if you code it
Yeah.
that way, you could, but yeah.
I was thinking that like for some of the bosses that Mystic came up with a good idea for one boss for the industrial age, which was like a steampunk type of boss. Like I'm trying to remember what we was talking about when we said it. It was like a giant boss that had like steampunk arms and like had a giant train coming out of his chest. I thought that would be an interesting type of boss to actually fight in the game. Oh yeah, there was also one. I also forgot one more ages. There was the World War One age where he has to go to. So
Wow.
I think that'd be a WW1 age, we could call it.
It's in cannons.
On Saturday, Zeke, one thing I want to talk about will be the names of the areas and the levels and more of the entirety of all, maybe even an idea of all 8, just to get a rough idea of what you're thinking.
Right. I know the last one we could call it just the Void Age.
Boy.
You can always go with the simplistic approach when it comes to that. You could always go World War One era, and then everybody knows what that means because it's just literally World War One, right? Or you could put, Sky era, like if you want to do like an outside sky area, or if you want to do, a dungeon area, castle area, dungeon area, or like you can name the world that, just be simplistic about it if you want. But you can always come up with creative ideas too and rename it. But it's much simpler if you just keep it simple, since it is a 2D game. But that's just my opinion, though.
Did we confirm the Jurassic era?
Oh yeah, I thought we said that with the Stone Age.
Okay, gotcha.
Won't that?
That one would be better set to combine with the Stone Age for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there was like the future age and like
Yeah, the sci-fi future or something that you guys are talking.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I just want to say Space Age. I just want it to be different from Future Age for some reason. I think that's. Let me count how many we got so far. It was medieval, stone, industrial, modern, World War One, future, and yeah, I think Space Age will just make it a lot make it a lot different. We could just have aliens attack you.
And then the 8th one would be the final area.
Yeah, with it's like the Void Age,
The void. Okay.
Void era, Void
Ooh,
Century.
yeah, I like that
Void
one.
Time.
Void era.
Okay.
Well, I guess we have that as a good rough 8 right there for the first rough ideas. Pun intended. Meh.
And so far, I haven't come up with other bosses except for like the dragon and like the final boss. I feel like you're gonna fight him twice after you collect almost half of the stones. Like once you collect half of it, you're gonna fight him again, but like you go fight him for the first time, and he's just going to just be there just to mock you and like just to see where you're at right at that point.
Here's
Kinda like,
another. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's kind of like what game I? It's kind of like Devil May Cry when you fight like Dante. Wait, not Dante. Who am I thinking of? Virgil. When you fight Virgil a second time.
Yeah. I played the first game. Are you talking about the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can compare it to like well, I won't say you can compare it to Metal Gear Rising. Because that dude, he killed you so easy. He killed me so easily. No matter how many times I got his health down low, I could defeat him until the second time.
Well, I was getting off topic. Yeah. Or I mean.
So here's another thought that I just came across that maybe you guys might want to look into. You don't necessarily have to put that many bosses either, because I mean I know like typically if you finish up a world, you want a final boss in the last level of each world. But think about this too. You guys are talking about Void World, Galaxy World, you know, or like not Galaxy, Space World. You could put those in the same world together and ship them, you know, meaning like you could do 8 levels and then have one boss, you know?
There you go.
Okay.
And so you could have like 4 bosses throughout the game, you know, like one for every 2 worlds that you do.
4 mega bosses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
4 mega bosses that go from the second form.
Because the other thought that I have about that, the reason why I'm suggesting that is because I was thinking about it, and if you have 8 separate bosses for 8 separate worlds, it does kind of work, but it kind of doesn't too. Because if you think about a theme like say Mario or Sonic, you know, in Mario it was Bowser, and in Sonic it was Dr. Eggman, and Mega Man it was Dr. Wily. You know what I mean? So even though there was a bunch of mini bosses, there was the main big boss, right? So
yeah,
so
I
you
will
don't.
agree and disagree, because if you make a game fun enough, no matter what, I bet you your bottom dollar you can make a good game with 8 bosses and 8 whatever. But I know where you're going with what you said though, and I like where
Right.
you're going with that.
So if
Right.
you make less bosses and then you connect those, you know, instead of 4 levels and then a boss, you could have 8 levels and then a boss. You know, you create less bosses. That means more detail can go into those 4 bosses that you create, and then on top of that, then it's also not going to be confusing for the player, because they're going to be like, well, why do I have this boss here and this boss here and this boss here and this boss here? It's not consistent. You know, that's all.
Who wants
I understand.
85-4 and who wants what he said?
So, I mean, I'm open for whatever. I just I thought I'd suggest that and see what y'all thought.
I hear you where you're going with that. I guess it depends how long the levels are and what and with test playing. Well, actually no. What do you think, Zeke?
I like the idea, but I really wanted it to be more like we had individual bosses because I had ideas for others. Like I was having an idea for like a twin boss that you had to fight like two of them. For like one world, but I felt like it might be more difficult too.
It's 8x4, but a really fun, solid game with 8 very unique bosses because we were borrowing that concept from Mega Man. Where are we still letting the player choose where to go so they can replay the game and go in a different order?
Right.
Okay.
Cause like it was supposed to be that like no matter which world they go to, it will always have like a boss at the end, and then like they would no matter which route they go, it will be like it will end off at a boss, but it will also give them the opportunity to like explore different areas, also to unlock new secrets and stuff. They could like what you said before, Cosmo. They could like affect like few other levels as they keep going.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea more because, because, well, I mean, that keeps it consistent too, and the game will be not too long because we'll make the levels, not too short, but long enough to be fun and, not boring. We'll make them fun, have some puzzles here and there, some dangers, but not too hard. And, that would be fun to, like, trigger something that would trigger a different era and have 8 different eras, all with the boss, but each boss is so differently unique from the different other boss. Because and Mega Man also did that in a really good way with their bird, or with Mega Man X with the armadillo, the bird, all the animals basically and they're all different and they're all memorable too. Every single one's memorable, and I like that. And that's I'm not saying copy. I'm just saying we should make them so unique that they're all 8 of them are very memorable, and then. When people play the game and it's fun enough, they're gonna love it because it has a classic style to it, kind of like the whole 8x4 classic style. But then again, it's Unreal Engine. It's unique and go to different areas, secret areas, the puzzles. And I like the way that all that sounds. Yeah, I don't know. Anyone else want to say anything?
I was about to say, and also if the problem is like there's just too many levels, then like the player might get tired just going through all 4 levels just to get to like a boss, and they might have difficulty with this boss and then try to go in a different route. Then we could just join like then we could just focus on like just throwing out some of the sub levels, so we can focus on just going straight into like having like 1, 2, and then go to 3 with a boss level.
What would be interesting is if we had a different area, let's say we chose out of the 4 areas per era. We chose a boss, so maybe the player doesn't know if it's going to be the 4th area or the 1st or the 2nd or 3rd area, because that's the whole point of exploring. Maybe
randomize when the boss.
I'm getting that.
Oh, sorry. I was about to say that like you're thinking of saying that like each path could get you closer to the boss. No, whichever path you take would make you get straight to the boss or like get just farther.
Perhaps Perhaps maybe even a more Zelda influence, where you could even let's say you happen to pick the area the boss is going to be in, but there's like a cave. There's a barrier, you can't get into it. So you got to figure out with the 3 other areas how to get to the boss. Kind of like how to get the big key in Zelda. Almost is my idea of that. But. So you go explore, and each area has its own unique thing. Maybe there's a secret in one of them. Maybe you get a cool weapon in another one. Maybe you get magic in another one. I want each area to have something where the player gets rewarded by exploring. So it's not just get from A to B to C to get to the boss. Maybe from A to B to C, there's that whole exploration, that whole feeling of rewarding the player, not just with the progression in the bosses, but with like actual weapons, magic, items, whatever hidden within each area. I guess that's borrowed from like PS1 type fun 3D games like Croc and Spyro, but that's just my idea.
Anybody else got any hot takes on it?
I
think
can't
it'd be
think of any right now. I'm actually still talking to Molly about the weapons in the chat too.
What do you think?
I had a
what
call. I didn't get it, but I'll watch the recording and give thoughts after.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then.
Cool. Slayer?
I can't think of any hot takes that I would have on it. It sounds like we've got good ideas. And I see Dragon and Marley are discussing asset stuff, so.
So I'll make some levels by the next Wednesday and by the next Saturday, and I guess that's all I gotta say for the meeting. Anyone else have anything for me to?
Well, while you making the levels for the medieval era, I'll start working on some levels for. I'll say, I'll let you do Jurassic. I'll do modern and sci-fi.
Sweet, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna give myself that note. I'm gonna write it down.
If you guys check in the chat, I think Dragon already had an idea on who's doing what on assets. I would check that message in the conference chat.
Yeah, I set it up where actually, if you look in the to-do list, I've got the whole list of the weapon assets. I've got 2 ages for Marley, 2 ages for myself, and 2 ages for Teo.
Good view.
Okay.
And then, like I was discussing, we can, whatever ages are not included there, once we get those ones done, we could all work, the modelers could all work on the remaining ones together.
Sounds plan, man.
We'll also have to figure in non-weapon assets that are going to be in the levels too, and how many of those there'll be, what kind they will be, and whatnot.
Definitely. Oh.
Man, Drake, you like Mountain Dew just like me. I'm a Mountain Dew-aholic too.
I can't take a day without having a 2-liter of Mountain Dew. Ask Raven or even Slayer knows this.
I think it's but yeah, I can't help it. I gotta drink Mountain Dew.
I've got extremely high metabolism and low blood sugar.
Yeah.
If I don't have my Mountain Dew, my blood sugar drops like crazy.
Yeah, my
Shit.
father and mother well, my dad passed away, but my mom, but they both diabetes, so I know what that's. I don't know what it's like myself, but I know what they dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
But sounds like a plan. I'm gonna get going here. I gotta wake up early for class and stuff. I appreciate everyone. I'll catch whatever I missed, but I hope everyone has a good night.
All right, Cosmo. See you later. Have a good night.
Catch you later, Cosmo.
Good night.
So, is there anything else meeting-wise that we need to address, or?
Probably just figuring out what non-weapon assets, just to at least get an idea. But like that, we can probably do we can probably just gather reference images. post it in the chat somewhere. Do that. That way it doesn't take our meeting time.
I did post I did like post some new stuff on my Pinterest for like environment, for like how I picture like environments to be like.
Could you, let's see. Do we have a channel for that?
Pinterest? I don't know.
So that
Should
we
be
can
done.
access his Pinterest?
No.
Because I do that in the general.
I mean, we don't
'Cause I
have
got-
one
I got my own Pinterest, too.
specifically. I can set one up where we can.
Is either that or put it in brainstorming or idea development. Maybe one of those.
Yeah, it could go in one of those.
Yeah,
Then I just put in like
that's true.
Idea development
That'll
would
work.
probably be the better channel.
Idea development.
Okay, did I put in idea development?
Alright.
And that is the wrong thing. Sorry. It just went straight to the general chat quote.
I'm going to say this though about you, Zeke. I've noticed that you and Zeke, no, not you and Zeke, you and Cosmo have been pretty good workhorses since we started this thing. So appreciate you guys working hard and shit. So
Yeah,
Thanks.
most definitely. Alright, let's see.
And Marley, very nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you considering you're on the old team, but yeah, everybody from the old team. So yeah,
That's good.
Okay.
So part of the current team.
I've been kind of helping bring everybody together here on the new team. So
Yeah. I'm trying to be more active. I'm still slightly recovering from a injury. I fractured my ankle the late part of July. Re-sprained it less than a month ago. So.
Ooh, ow.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yep, I ended up in the ER again, but luckily nothing was broken. But it sent me back a good bit.
Sprains are
now one
worse
question.
than breaks, but it's
Yeah.
not. It doesn't look as bad. So
Yeah.
One question, Zeke. In addition to the weapons, will the player have a staff as well?
Yes.
I see you have staffs in here.
Yeah. I kind of imagine his staff being more like one of the main weapons he used to like shoot the fireballs out and like just use as like a melee attack.
Will the staff remain the same asset no matter what world he's in, or do we need one for each era?
I felt like it would be easier if it stayed the same in each world.
It would
Okay.
make more sense too.
Yeah.
I also kind of imagine like his staff like has like a clock like just hang it on it.
That would definitely be an interesting take.
If you want, you can go ahead and draw up some concept ideas, put it in the idea development. We can go from there.
Okay.
Mhm.
I had like a concept drawn like before when I was working on it, but I was focused on my other projects when I had like the idea fresh in my head basically. I don't know why, but now my mouse has disappeared. It's just gone.
Believe me, I get you on that because I've got 3 separate screens on this machine, and when you switch from one screen to another, sometimes the mouse disappears on you.
Yeah, why is that a thing for anything? But I'll find the concept after I find it. I have to go through some old files.
As far as non-weapon assets, Like, would crates make sense for him to help him jump to higher levels, or
Oh, like throwing platforms, you mean?
well, yeah, like would it make sense to have crates to help him jump from one platform to a separate one, or would crates not be something
I say
that would
crates
make
can be
sense?
used in like the modern age and like sci- like up to sci-fi, like from
Okay,
industrial to like up further. I feel like the
okay,
asset will change differently when it goes to like something in the previous sections.
yeah. Yeah, maybe like in medieval and Stone Age, maybe it would be a rock instead of a crate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or a stone box.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that option.
Trying to think of what other non. Are we gonna have anything along the lines of loot boxes?
Like, yeah, I say
Okay.
like now for a loot box. You mean like loot boxes, as in there would be like different items, like Mario's mystery block?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I don't know if that's something that
Well,
you've been thinking about or not.
I was thinking that like with each stone he gets like a new power and ability. If we add the loot
Okay.
boxes, it's probably going to overwhelm like the actual.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel it could be a good idea, but I have is like the way how it has to be played out.
Yeah. Not. Yeah. I'm
Maybe.
just.
Good looking stuff.
I'm sorry, I didn't know it was that tiny.
Another thought that made me think of that as soon as you mentioned that was, have you played Crash Bandicoot Warp before?
I've never played that one, but I have played a Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, this one's specific to Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. Has anybody here played it?
Yeah, I have.
No.
Okay.
No.
Zeke, so you would know. All right. So, you remember like at the end of boss fights and Crash Bandicoot Warped how like you defeated the boss and you got a power up?
Right?
That could be your stones that you talk about, and then like each stone does a different power up, but you have to defeat the boss for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because that's how I was thinking about how it would be once you get like each stone.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
you
just
can
trying
get
to.
power ups like Mario, like go throughout the level, pick up different power ups to grow or shrink or whatever. But I'm talking like power ups that can consistently use throughout the game, like that would help the player change their abilities to do stuff. Like say a spin move, like a triple spin instead of just a regular spin, or like a double or triple jump versus just a regular jump. So stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I understand. Well, we could also have our own version of like loot boxes because like what what the stone's supposed to do is like once they get the stone, they get like that power for like the rest of the game. But like they if they want like something that could like be similar to like or double jump or like Mario's growing spin or just gliding, they could also get like we could just make like like a spell book that they get, and it gives them like a different type of spell attack that
Yeah.
could
Kind of gives
be
me
used
like
to support them.
That kind of gives me like Legend of Dragoon vibes if you've ever played that game, because like they get the dragoon spirit and then they get their magic that they can use that is specific to that dragoon spirit, right? So you could do that with those stones like that, like what you're talking about.
That sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm just trying to make this image look bigger because I did not know the cane looked that small. It looks like a pep. It looks like a toothpick from what I was saying.
Okay, where is my mouse now?
There's so many different games you could reference, though, and that's the thing is like the more games you play, the more references you can make to different games and different ideas. So that's the cool part.
Yeah, that is a small image, isn't it?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to fix.
But yeah, I was just trying to think of other assets that would be in the worlds besides the weapons, and that's why I thought of loot boxes.
Well, why not? What am I thinking of? Well, we did say some traps. Like, we could have, like, fallen rocks that... Because, like, we were planning for, like, an aim system so you could shoot at, like, some world objects that would cause it to fall down on enemies or, like, create pathways for you.
Okay.
So, like, that could be a thing. Like, we could have,
Since Assassin's Creed has made side scrollers before, have you played Assassin's Creed Chronicles before at all?
I played the China one. Or was it
Okay,
Japan
so
one?
you'll have a general idea of what I'm talking about then when I'm talking about this. You know how they had the aim system for like their noisemakers or for their gunshots or whatever? It wasn't gunshots, it was like blow darts and stuff like that they had. Okay, you could use that same kind of system for this because it's a side scroller game. So, as your attack system, if you wanted to, you don't have to use the same inventory or anything. But what I'm saying is, as far as style wise, you could kind of still create your own, but you could use that as a template, so to speak, to help you out. You know, decide on how you want to make it go.
Okay.
Just something to think about.
Right now, I'm still trying to fix that stuff. I'm.
Liam's so full of ideas tonight.
Hey, that's never a bad thing.
You seen me earlier. I was drawing. I don't draw at all, right? And I was drawing up like a whole level today of like how I wanted to design a level. And not specific to this game, or just like a open 3D, creating and drawing it on paper. Even though I can't draw.
Just the one on my Roku box. I mean, I'm not using the Roku box because my TV's got Roku itself.
What do you mind if I use it?
Or you just need the USB
cord.
Oh,
Yeah, the power cord too, Doug. If you have it. Yeah, sure. If the Roku works, I have one. I got here.
well, here's the power cord, and it's actually the one I have is actually an HDMI cord.
That might be what I meant to say. Yes, this thing.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so where are we at? Are we? Is there anything else for tonight, or?
Not as far as not as far as I can think of, anyway.
Zeke?
Nah, nothing. Unless anybody got some questions, because finally I fixed it.
I'm talking as far as for the
Either.
meeting recorded.
Yeah, I don't think I got too much more either. I just was throwing suggestions out because it was like, well, we're still on the recording, so
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to make sure everything that needed to be on the recording was covered. So I guess if there's nothing else that we need to have on the recording for tonight, go ahead and stop the recording and
Uh-huh.
thank you all for being here.
All right.
mhm.